morning. It is Friday. I was going to say Thursday. Thursday again. It's Friday, June 26th. Summertime in Michigan. Good morning, Jeff. Yeah, he was a good guy. I wrote more. A friend of mine just said he gave her her first essential oil. He was this beautiful Italian man that he and his wife had, I think, 6, 7 children. But they moved to Michigan and didn't have anywhere to go, and my parents said, live with us. And I think Darla and Nino, their first daughter, and my brother Nino were born within like months of each other. And just our families, just, our whole lives. He had a shoe store called Edison Shoes. And it was downtown in my hometown, about 4 blocks from where I'm sitting right now. And he was so cool. He had a platform that kids would walk up, probably adults too, would climb up these little stairs, and then you sat on a bench, a long bench, and he could stand, instead of bending down on the ground to put shoes on you, he would stand at his level, and you would be up on this bench, and he would sit there and fit your shoes. And he taught me, I remember, how to tie my shoes. He tied the knot, showed you how to tie the knot, and then he said, and there was once a rabbit, and the rabbit didn't have any ears. And then the rabbit grew one ear, and then the rabbit grew the other ear. And then he did it that way where you flipped it and tied it. Joe Scrima. Yeah, he was cool. And always had a food, how I am around people. I'm like, that food, I'm a nutritional counselor, and so I've always done that. But I got a lot of that from him and from another uncle, Joe, who was also a juicer and had a health food store in Benton Harbor. And that's a whole other story. But he was really cool. And I bought my first pair of Earth shoes from him, my first pair of Birkenstocks, and I was like 9. I think I was 8 when I got my Earth shoes, maybe 7. Yeah, I should have been living in California. Yeah, I did, other lifetimes. And I did in this lifetime. And I will. As soon as I get back there. But he was living in what they call the Towers, a few blocks from here. And since I saw him at Christmas, and I saw him in January because he would rebuild my Birkenstocks. There's a bone, a metatarsal bone that would be irritated when I wore Birkenstocks. And so he knew how to cut out this little part of the cork and refit it. And he would refit our shoes. He re-engineered shoes. And he also did, I could show you. Hold on. I think. He was making orthotics for me. Here are my orthotic molds for my feet. Just in the last few months. He made my foot mold. I thought he signed them. Maybe not. No, he didn't sign it after all. I asked him to sign it and he said, oh please. But so I have a work of art from Joe Scrima. It's my foot. He died this morning. He and my brother Nino were really good friends. But he was really good friends with everybody. Anyway, lots of children, grandchildren, and he was making, I don't know this, he was making a sculpture of his head. He was a big, bald, beautiful Italian man, and he was making a sculpture, and I think some of his ashes are going to be held in the sculpture, and then some of them are going to be made into diamonds, because he was a diamond. He really was, you know, not only old school, but relatable to everybody on different levels, on whatever level he would meet people on the street, homeless people. I mean, he was a selfless being. Lost for the world, but he wasn't physically in a good place. And he was living in this tower. Oh, that's right. And so about once a week I'd call and go, "Hey, Joe, I'm going to come by." Couldn't go in the tower, right? So I would stand at the bottom and wave and hold flowers and hold Lillian and anyway, Joe Scrimmel. An elder for sure. So it's very, I don't know, maybe, thank you. Thank you. Brent, did he teach you? Do you remember Edison's shoes in St. Joseph? I bet he did. I am on. Hi, Lucia. It's Fridays with Armando. Hi. Oh, hi. My mom and I were reminiscing about your father this morning. But then...
Your mom and my dad have great history together.
Yeah. She was his secretary. And she lived with them. You know that? Did you know that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, they lived, I mean, that was before either of our time. But yeah. She lived with them. He depended on her to keep his calendar straight and all of his appointments. And
we still do that. Mom, where's the phone number for? She has everything. She has calendar. She's the one.
She is the one who takes care of all that. You know, I got to thinking, because I posted about my dad's birthday yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I said something to the effect that, you know, in his love for our mom, he showed us the example of lifelong commitment and complete love. And I got to thinking about you and your parents and just how lucky we are. Yeah. How incredibly lucky we are that we have parents that truly loved each other. They didn't stay together because of fear or because of animosity towards each other, which some people stay together for, or because of just because of responsibility they have to stay together. They stayed together for their entire lives because they made a commitment, and they grew and developed and changed with each other throughout their lives and created these families where they showed us by example what love means, what love is.
Yes.
By their providing for us, by their desire for us to succeed. You know, my sister, before my dad had a stroke, my sister was in Albuquerque, and she said she went for a walk with my dad, and they did sort of an inventory of all the kids and how everybody's doing. And my dad was always sort of worried about me being an actor. And at that point, where was I in my career at that point? I was at UCSC in graduate school. And I, gone the direction of education in theater, pedagogy in theater at that point. And my dad was extremely relieved and proud that I was taking it seriously. That I had found my niche, found my aim, found my goal, but I was committing to it. The way he committed to his goal to be of service to people and to the underserved and to people who didn't have a voice as an attorney. And that is not to say he was always just, a plaintiff's attorney. I mean, of course, he was an attorney for corporations as well, but he had an extremely varied career. I mean, he was attorney for a lot of people who wouldn't be able to get that kind of representation. And interestingly enough, after he had the stroke, my brother Roberto took over his law practice. And in order to figure out who the active clients were, he went through his books. Not only the files, but also the books. And there was a lot of notations that Mr. Gutierrez couldn't pay his bill this month, but that's okay. We were able to get him, a settlement for the injury that he suffered. And if he can't pay this month, maybe he'll pay the next month. And there was many write-offs where he was like, you know what, this guy doesn't need to pay his bill. We got him what he needs, and he's taking care of his family. And I don't know, and your dad was a great souled, a magnanimous individual as well. Just, your dad was all heart and showed us how to love, how to be a person of integrity. Yep. And not everybody gets that. We're lucky. We have this foundation. And I meet so many people whose parents divorced when they were young, or whose parents were always at each other's throats, or, mom walked away from the family.
Or even parents that were together but didn't support what their children did. I have friends that have said to me, they go, man, if my parents would have supported me like your parents did, I would have been a writer, I would have been an actor, I would have been,
right.
And the person that I'm referring to, I started talking about today, Joe Scrima, was also one of those people who died this morning.
Yeah.
He was one of my father's best friends and one of Nino's best friends, and, like I said earlier, taught us how to tie our shoes. I mean, that's an important step in a person's in the growth of a child. But anytime I ever saw him or his children, or there was love there, and that's how my father was too, and that's how your father was. I used to, your dad and I used to walk all the time when we were there. Every morning I'd go walk with him over to the college, and we'd walk around that loop, and and my dad and your dad together, completely different ways of living, but they blended so well, and they brought out the best in each other.
Well, I've said it before. Your dad was one of my dad's favorite in-laws. When your mom and dad would come to visit, my dad would just brighten up and know that he would get a chance to spend time with his brother-in-law Ben, his cuñado Ben, and he always just thought the world of your dad, and what a good man he was, and they would have a great time together. I remember seeing your dad and Ben and Uncle Alfredo sitting together drinking whiskey and just having a great time. Three really distinct men of honor, men of integrity, men who did what they said and said what they did and were honest and forthright, and it's amazing to think of, how lucky, how fortunate we are, and how, the old saying, we stand on the shoulders of the ancestors, of the great ones who made it possible. I mean, every day I think of how lucky I am to have been afforded the opportunity and the space to be an artist.
Yes, I know. Here we are.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of your house, how's it going? What's happening? How's your Airbnb and your home away from home? And
well, here at the home away from home, out on the front porch, enjoying a 64-degree morning. It's overcast here in LA. They've actually started the renovation in earnest, at the other place.
Good.
They ended up taking out all of the kitchen cabinetry. They originally were only going to take out one side of the cabinets, and then they decided, I guess the insurance company decided they would cover everything. So we had to go over there last week and clean out the rest of the kitchen cabinets. And when we went back a day later, the demolition happened and our kitchen was completely empty. And so we're now not allowed to go into the house while they're doing the renovation. I mean, we can contact our landlord and he can make an arrangement if we need to go in and get something. But it's happening. And as of 2 weeks ago, he said it was going to be at least 60 days.
Oh, wow.
So we're here in the temporary place, at least for the rest of the summer, which is fine. I mean, we're comfortable. We've gotten to a place where we have a routine here, and it's great having the front porch space and the yard, and we've had folks over for physically distant coffee, and we've had a couple of folks over for dinner. We had my niece, Leah, my sister Christina's daughter, who lives down here, and she spent a lot of time up in the Bay Area right after the quarantine. She went up there and stayed in Christina and Trey's house in the city because Christina and Trey were at the other house up in Healdsburg. They, just before the full lockdown in San Francisco happened, they went up to Healdsburg and decided they would stay up there because it's so much easier to be physically distant. House, you know, up in for another 2 miles. They're up in Sonoma. It's gorgeous up there. So pretty.
It is.
And Trey's been bicycling, and Christina's just been doing projects, and we stay in contact.
Good.
But Leah was here. Leah and her boyfriend came for dinner. Great to see her. And my glasses are filthy. I'm not going to put those on.
I don't know where mine are, so I can't join you.
Now, you said, no, I was going to put them on, but it looks like I put gravy on them or something. I'm not sure.
Could be.
Could be. You never know. Stuff happens. Hey, Corona Roki was great last night. I haven't watched the whole thing, but the folks who I saw,
Fantastic.
good heavens, I was way intimidated. I was so intimidated getting on there after seeing, Rain. Good
Rain's
heavens.
great.
What a British.
She's amazing.
She's incredible.
Everybody, well, from start to finish, Phyllis started the show, and then Joe McBride, who is a pianist, singer, musician extraordinaire, just incredible guy, who lives in Dallas, and then Ruth, and then my friend Walsh, who I'll be hanging out with this weekend playing music. He's like 25 years old, and he played a Bob Dylan tune, Mr. Tambourine Man.
Oh, wow. It's a great song.
And it just went from there. It just kept going. And Delilah took the week off, so we have Delilah to look forward to next week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's got a surprise for us.
I will be working next week, but I'll try to see it, after the fact, or I'll try to dial in if I can.
Dial in. It's Corona Roki it's the bomb shit.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, and I've been working a lot. One of our waiters, a guy who works at the other restaurant, who works at Cindy's, and worked just Sunday brunch at Fox's. He was a fill-in guy and worked Sunday brunch.
Wow.
He had some financial and personal considerations about coming back. He came back for a little while, and then it just wasn't working for him. The money has changed, and you've worked as a waiter before, and when the business changes, and all of a sudden it's like your tips have gone down to 30% of what you were making before. All of a sudden it's like, okay, I got to do something else. So this guy left, and now the last weekend I worked doubles on Saturday and Sunday. I'm working doubles this Saturday and Sunday. And I was supposed to work a double yesterday, but then one of the ladies who worked during the day generously offered to take the night shift. They'd take the dinner shift, and I said, yeah, sure.
I wondered why you were available last night. That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, I have to ask you a big favor.
Yes.
I've just been gifted something at my door, and I want to go get it. Do you mind entertaining the troops for a moment?
I would be happy to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Armando Ortega.
Hey, y'all. So I hope everybody's doing okay out there. I mean, we're just sort of bumping along here. My wife and I are both actors. My wife is getting some work. I mean, it's not paying work right now, but she's doing a play reading this morning. She's about to start, in about an hour. She's reading a full-length play, reading a role in a full-length play. And I can't say much about this, but she's got an offer for a really nice paying job in August because production is starting to open up here in Los Angeles. A friend of ours just booked a commercial, and he auditioned remotely, and he writes a Facebook post called Quarantine Chronicles, and it was very interesting. He had to travel. He had to go to Alabama to do this commercial, and so he detailed the whole situation. The airplane was not very full as he was going, and when he got to the airport, usually as an actor when you're traveling, they'll try to coordinate all the actor travel so that several actors get to the airport at the same time roughly, and then there'll be a transportation van to take all of them to the hotel or to the set, no matter wherever they're going. Well, now they had a 15-passenger van for him alone, so he could be physically distant from the driver. And then going to set, there's a thing called craft services. And craft service in the past was a table with all kinds of snacks and coffee and cookies and M&Ms and chips, and you would reach into bowls and get your stuff. Well, now that's changed, of course. So
no more reaching into bowls, anyone.
No, absolutely. So craft services was a little bag with some snacks for him, and the lunch was a box lunch, a nice lunch, but a box lunch. And he also said that only the key people were on set, whereas there would be, in the past, there would be 3 people from the makeup department and, a bunch of people from lighting and a bunch of guys to move set pieces. Now they only had key makeup person, key lighting person, director of photography. And I think the director was remote. He was in a booth or in a van somewhere watching everything on video and, being the voice of God over a PA, asking the actors to do whatever he needed them to do. So that sort of looks like what production is going to look like. TV production and movie production is going to look like for a while. And then we have another friend who just booked a big movie, and he's a little older than us. He's in his 60s. And so there was a 6-page document that they sent him that detailed everything that the production was doing to keep everybody safe. I think they're doing temperature checks, daily temperature checks. I'm not sure if they're going to do tests or if they have the capacity to do that. But it's a new reality. You keep hearing people saying, "Oh yeah, once we get back to normal," and it's like
it's the now norm.
It's the now norm, exactly. Yeah, I was just talking about a friend of ours who booked a commercial just here lately, like last week, and he had to travel, and his whole experience with that, the whole protocol that was happening. And now he's quarantined. He came back, and he's quarantined from his family. He's staying in a room by himself in their house for 2 weeks. And they're very careful. His wife is his manager, and his kids also act. And so they know the whole life of being an actor. So they were very supportive of him traveling to do this commercial, but also they're just trying to be as safe as they possibly can be.
I was just gifted a huge box of vegetables and fruit.
Nice.
Yeah, and it says for donation to 1111 with Jenna. And there's lettuce and onions and parsnips and apples and...
I see a delicious salad in your future.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been having... Last week, my friend Rosie gifted me like 3 huge bags of greens and like kale and lettuces and scapes and something else. So, yeah, I've been eating really incredible.
Well, it's no wonder that you look so young.
From gifts from my friends.
So much produce and love in your life.
I mean, like I could barely carry the box upstairs. Thank you.
That is so nice.
Yep.
That's super cool.
Yep. So Gracie and I are gonna have a big old salad, and I'm gonna make. There are apples. I'm gonna make applesauce, parsnips.
Nice.
I haven't had a parsnip since Thanksgiving. Broccoli, cauliflower.
You know what my mother used to make, and probably your mother knows the recipe.
What?
Baked apples.
Oh
Did your mom ever
yeah.
used to do that?
Yeah.
Baked apples with cinnamon and nutmeg and
Heck
sugar.
yeah.
And then you pour some half and half over it.
And
or a
she
little
also used to. That was another thing. She would cut up a raw apple and pour cream on it.
Mmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I miss? And I'm going to get the recipe from my sister. I think I mentioned this in the past. Chocolate pudding cake. You remember chocolate pudding cake?
I would miss that.
It was a 9x13 cake.
When you
But
poured cookies.
my mother made it in a slightly smaller pan, I think. And then she would make chocolate pudding. And while the pudding was hot,
Right.
she put the cake in the chocolate pudding. And you'd have this hot, moist, juicy chocolate pudding cake thing and pour half and half over it. Oh my God.
I used to make one that was a chocolate cake, and then you poked holes in it, and then you poured the pudding into the hole. Like the hole, it would settle into the holes.
Right, pudding injection.
Yeah, if I ate that now, I would have to go to sleep, and I would have to like go run, and then I'd have to go pass out for a while.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
but persimmons, Nino used to make a persimmons, sweet potato, parsnips, like a medley at Thanksgiving.
Yum. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, Nino was an incredible cook. Lot of love in his cooking there.
Now, you said Mitch moved out from downstairs.
Well, he's still around.
That's good.
He's still around. Yeah.
What is he doing today?
He works for dear friends of ours company called Monty Package. Fourth generation. Package, like, you know, the little clamshells that you buy for your produce and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
These things.
They make those.
These things.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like, but they have, you know, all kinds of farming, all kinds of packaging for all produce. Speaking of, I didn't plant my celery yet, but look, guys, I have to go. I must plant it today because it's taking over my kitchen.
Oh, wow. Did you just have it in water?
Yeah, it's the base of the celery
Right.
that you trim off. Take a couple of the outer parts of the celery off, and then they root.
That's amazing.
And then you plant them.
That's so cool. Lovely.
Yeah.
I'm the only real celery fan here.
Oh, I
So
drink
usually-
about 16 ounces a day.
That's great. I don't juice. I need to become like more. I need to eat more healthily. I eat whatever I eat. You know what I mean? I just love food.
You eat some that sandwich you made in honor of Pa Ben the other day looked pretty slamming.
No, it was great. It was really tasty. He would have loved it. And you know, and my dad loved food too. He loved going out. He loved my mother's food. Oh my God, he loved my mother's food. We all loved my mother's food. Come on, she was an incredible cook. Your mom is a really good cook too, right?
She's a great cook. She is.
Yeah.
And we just
Wow.
and I like to. I'm doing more cooking now, and for over there I make something almost every day at the house, and we all hang out. Good night, goodbye, Jeff. See you. So tonight, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, Joe Scrima.
Yeah.
He's here for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
Tonight, my friend Patrick Liddell is going to be here, and he's an incredible young, super talented musician that lived in Illinois and that we met, and then he moved to Oakland, and we've seen each other in Oakland, and I'm actually going to record on his new album, but he's going to be here tonight. And then Melanie DeMore is here tomorrow night, and then my friend Don Braden, who's a super groovy saxophonist friend that lives on the East Coast. So we'll be traveling east to west, west to east.
Now, Don Braden, that name sounds familiar.
Oh, sure.
Has Has he been a guest on other people's recordings?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Super.
Oh yeah. He's quite prolific in his playing and where he's played, who he has played with. Google him. Google Don Braden, Braden, and Melanie. So no Gary Lambert tomorrow night. No one more Saturday night with Gary Lambert, but Melanie has been here most Saturday nights as well, so it'll be fun to have her on. And then Rain's going to finally be she was one. I think she was my first guest. She's going to be back on.
When is she going to be on?
Whenever she's not working, because she works all the time.
And she's a professional singer, right? That's her gig.
Actress, entertainer. She has a whole. She's a breast cancer survivor, so she's an advocate and does a lot of work around breast cancer, but also has a campaign. Prunes are sexy too, and she wears this big prune outfit and she goes to parades and she acts. She's incredible. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And she's in Vegas.
Sings. Yeah.
She's a Vegas person. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
She lives in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Wow. People actually live there.
Yeah, I know, right? I have some cousins on my dad's side. They live in Henderson, right outside of Vegas.
I think it's Henderson. Yeah, I've driven to Vegas many times, and I think it's Henderson. Oh, have you driven to Vegas from LA lately?
Not lately.
Okay.
Like not in 25 plus years lately.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Diane Bond.
On the 15th, when you come over that rise, and you're about 35 miles out of Vegas.
Okay.
Coming over that rise, and then there's sort of a plateau, and then you come into kind of a desert plain. There is now and I think you can Google it. It is a solar farm that looks like it's from a science fiction movie.
Hold on. My garden is being worked on. Hold on.
Okay. Anyway, if you take that trip,
not my garden, the lawn,
to Vegas, the solar farm looks like it's from a science fiction movie. There's a main central tower that has a mirror on it. Then there's all these other solar mirrors that are trained by computer to focus their absorption of solar light to this one central mirror. And there's this huge, water tower. And I think Elon Musk owns it now.
Sounds like an Elon Musk creation.
But I think Elon Musk purchased it, and it's so bright. It's it almost makes you drive off the road because it's like glowing there in the desert. And the thing is, they developed a technology that, since the incredible solar heat gets focused on the central mirror, the water in the tower stays hot. So even after the sun goes down, you have hot water to run a turbine to create electricity. It's really incredible. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, damn, this is next level of solar power.
Sounds really cool.
The one unfortunate byproduct, and I shouldn't laugh, it's kind of horrible. It gets so hot near the main mirror on the top of the tower that birds get fried.
Oh.
Birds fly through, the
yeah, I've read about this.
The solar wash, and fall to the ground. So.
Nice one, Armando.
I know.
Thanks for the visual. Hi, Naomi.
Sorry, I won't go with my entire joke about it. There's an entire 5 minutes about it, but I'm not going to do it.
Well.
It involves a fried chicken place down at the bottom. Never mind.
I got it.
Are you
most of my life, yes, but I dabble now. Yeah.
Wow.
I stopped eating meat when I was about 9.
I didn't know that.
But I dabble.
You dabble in vegetarianism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not. We're omnivores. We eat everything. So Joaquin is starting work today.
Oh, good.
He's going
ice cream.
back to Salt and Straw today at the ice cream place. And he's a little, how shall we say, energized about it. Understandably. He's been very meticulous about the stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
And been worried about me being out in the world and worried for Snowy. And I was telling, when you were getting your produce box, I was telling the folks that Snowy is doing a play reading today over Zoom. And she also has an offer. It hasn't been completed yet, so I can't say much about it. She has an offer for a really nice job in August. Yeah. So, his production is ramping back up. It's starting to happen again.
It is happening.
And this is a television.
Oh, cool. Congratulations, Snowy.
Yeah. It's still in the ether, so I don't want to say much about it.
Okay. Congratulations for waking up today. We'll start there.
Waking up is great.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
Well, speaking of, I have a dog that's starting to wake up in the middle of the bed, and she needs to go outside, and I'm going to give some of this produce to my friend who's downstairs.
All right. That sounds like a good plan.
I'm so happy to see you, and hopefully next week at Corona Roki, and then next Friday for sure.
Yes, most definitely next Friday, and I'll try to do Corona Roki. And did I remember to tell you that I love you very much?
I love you very much.
Thank you, baby.
I love you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So happy that we've come back into each other's orbits.
It's really amazing. It's really good. Hug your family for me.
And hug your family for me.
We elbow bump. Love you.
Elbow bump.
Elbow bump. See ya. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Mondo. Beautiful Friday. Here we go. Right, Lil? We're ready to roll. I have to hear more about this puppy. What's going on? Until tonight. Kind thoughts. Peaceful words. Open heart. Call someone. Tell them you love them. Hug someone if you can. See you. Love, heart.